I was thinking as I was walking in one of the ICUs, I had quite a very strong smell of body odor. And in the nursing world, sometimes they sort of jokingly call that a code brown. And as I was walking by, I had that sensation, that smell, and a family member stepped out and said, we need some help. Can someone come see us? And I said, hold on just a second. Let me go find your nurse. Good morning, my name is Bobby. I'm a chaplain resident at a level 1 regional trauma center. And I just wanted to say good morning and thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me for this on-call shift. Today's a beautiful day as we start our final unit of this year-long chaplain residency. I invite you to join along with me as we do a day in the life of a chaplain. As you're watching this video this week, as I'm sort of sharing a little bit of, day in the life of a chaplain, as I have been doing these last several months, this particular video is just going to focus in on nurses because it is Nurses Week. And so I want to encourage you to share this video or tag a nurse or send a link in a text message or an email to a nurse and just say, here is someone who is in a profession, who works alongside nurses all the time, who just wants to say thank you for the hard work that you do. And if you're a nurse watching this, I want you to tag another nurse and share this link or comment this and provide this to someone else. And let's just continue the encouragement together. Just see how that gratitude and that thankfulness spreads out into the nursing community. Well, it is, 6 o'clock, and just now got a moment to breathe and kind of think about today and how things are going. Just had a little bit of a snack as I took some time for myself and just provided my own self some self-care in the midst of all this. And this week is Nurses Week, so I just want to say thank you so much to all the incredible nurses out there that help make patient care so important and so vital. Really at the hospital, the nurses are the ones on the ground providing that one-on-one care. The sights and sounds and smells and all kinds of experiences that are going on. I was thinking as I was walking in one of the ICUs this afternoon, working with a pretty complex case that had quite a very strong smell of body odor. And in the nursing world, sometimes they sort of jokingly call that a code brown. And as I was walking by, I had that sensation, that smell, and a family member stepped out and said, we need some help. Can someone come see us? And I said, hold on just a second. Let me go find your nurse. And another chaplain was with me as we were providing tea for the soul in that unit. And what's funny, interesting to kind of think about is there was a nurse practitioner that was there who immediately went over to that situation and took care of the patient's needs. And the other chaplain said to me, she might be a little bit overqualified for that particular response, but this nurse didn't hesitate at all to take care of this patient and family. And I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but there was no hesitation on this nurse's part to provide for the needs of this patient and this family. And I'm reminded of how selflessly so many nurses are and how willing they are to serve and take care of all kinds of needs. I encounter so many nurses on a daily basis here at this level 1 trauma center, and it is a wonder. It's a blessing to be able to spend some time with them. Often I get to debrief those nurses and just share some of those experiences about what it's like to provide care for patients on a regular basis. So I want to kind of give you some of those thoughts. So I told you about a code brown. There are plenty of times where I do hear nurses, and nurses will tell me that they are often the last ones thought about when it comes to debrief, or the last one's considered when it comes to addressing the emotional or spiritual impact about really difficult circumstances. And so whenever I hear those kinds of things, I pause, I take a moment, and then I just invite that nurse or that staff member to debrief with me. You don't get to say really heavy things like that around me in my units without me at least questioning, hey, what's that about? Where's that coming from? What's going on there? So often that's kind of an invitation or a cry for help, so to speak, and I'm at least going to take that invitation seriously enough to ask at least another question or two or three, depending on how willing that person is to share with me, and kind of open up. And I'm aware that people often don't feel enough appreciation for the hard work and the selfless work that they do on a regular basis. But what I really want to say is that people are only feeling the amount of appreciation that gets shared with them according to basically what they need. So if someone's more of a verbal affirmation person, they need to hear those words. If they're more of a tangible person, they need acts done and ways that are shown to them that make sense kind of in their own sense, maybe a little bit more physical or a little bit more realistic or tangible for them. So nurses that may be watching this, or folks in healthcare professions and fields, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for the tireless work that you do on a regular basis. You are what makes patient care possible. You provide the kind of care that our patients so desperately need. There is not a particular kind of cookie cutter version of what it means to be a great nurse. I see all kinds of personalities in the work that I do here at this hospital as I engage with peds nurses and trauma nurses, emergency department nurses, ICU, floor nurses, med-surg nurses, all kinds of folks, even the nurse techs or nursing assistants, medical assistants, all those kinds of folks that they get involved in the patient nursing part of things, all kinds of personalities that it takes. And I'm grateful that it takes all kinds of people to respond, and that most nurses come from a genuine place of care and love and concern and wanting to do the best that they can, and there's pride in their work that they do and their desire really to take care of patients on a ground level kind of basis, meeting those basic needs and dealing with things that may come up. And so really it's those frontline nurses in the hospital setting that often get hit with all kinds of just negative emotions and feelings and thoughts and situations that patients and families just sort of blurt out on them. Who's the first person they get when they hit that button, right? The nurse button. It's called that for a reason, or when they pull the cord in the bathroom or those sort of things. Incidentally enough, I was in another patient room, and a nurse came running in because the emergency pull cord was accidentally tripped by the patient's adult daughter, who was in the restroom at that time. And this nurse faithfully responded even though I was in the room and that sort of thing. And I'm proud of her. It's just those simple things that nurses do to take care of patients, and often they're the ones that hold space. So many times I find that nurses in the hospital and in my units are really doing my job as a chaplain and really shepherding the emotionality and the spirituality and encouraging people to kind of talk about and think about and work through the different things that are going on. And I'm grateful so many times for nurses that do those kinds of things and really go above and beyond in dealing with that. My challenge to my nurse friends, to take care of yourself. Find ways to revive your soul and find ways to provide your own kind of self-care. You got to take care of yourself in the midst of this all if you're going to continue with any kind of longevity or any kind of length of service. It's more than just the money. I know that. I see that. I realize that it's way more than about that, and it's great. It's great to have that positive compensation, and that thankfulness and that appreciation, but you need to take care of yourself too. Put your needs your emotions, your physical health, spiritual health, emotional health first. Take care of your family first as well, and your relationships too. And you're going to be that much better and that much healthier as a person. You matter. You matter so much. I'm so grateful for nurses and the amazing work that nurses provide, often without thanks or gratitude, on a regular basis to patients, families, all kinds of interactions. The incredible care that so many nurses provide is such a blessing. And I just want to say Happy Nurses Week. There was another nurse that I was talking to today that's in the float pool at the hospital, which basically means that he gets assigned where needed in different units. His own reasoning behind doing that is that it's great for him to kind of, float around and be a part of different environments and not necessarily get caught up in the daily drama that can sometimes happen in the different units. But he really enjoyed getting to know different nurses and different staff on the different units throughout the hospital, mainly focusing on the ICUs, but also on some of the related floor units as well. This particular nurse I've spent a decent amount of time with and conversations, checking back in after visits and before visits with patients. Yesterday when I was talking to him, he said, I just want to say I appreciate you. You're such a relational and relatable person. We need more chaplains like you. And it was great. It was a wonderful thing to get to hear that and sort of, feel that thankfulness and that gratitude. And I said back to him, I really appreciate the work that you do as well. Kind of recognizing the importance of taking care of the relational needs of your patients and your families. I know for sure that when patients have you, that you're looking out for their best interest and you're going to respond with appropriate and timely care. Such a wonderful thing. What's funny is that I saw the same nurse today in a different ICU that I have not seen him in before. And I said, hey man, how's it going? I guess I'm following you this week. So maybe tomorrow you're going to end up in this other ICU that I haven't seen you in yet. We kind of just shared a laugh, and then we spent a couple of minutes sort of talking about patient care primarily, but also just sharing space with each other and really it's kind of a fellowship if you think about it from a Christian or religious perspective. One human talking to another human, sort of sharing common experiences and encouragement, support. It's so vital that we do that for each other. What's also been neat for me over this residency over the last 8 months is that I've really got to know a lot of different nurses throughout the hospital. Certainly in the units that I get to spend time with as we renegotiated units today. So I got to keep some of those units, and I also got to pick up a new unit as well. A particular new unit to me that I started with today is I made introductions to the clinical staff leader, the CSL, or sometimes called the charge nurse. I spent some time with her, and she goes, yeah, I remember you. You responded on call when there was this particular situation, and she shared some of what that was like for her and for her team and some of the care that we had provided. I actually talked about that in a previous video, how I provided care with pastor and his response in with this patient and family, and kind of helped ferry those family members back as there was a death notification. So we debriefed and shared a little bit about what that experience was like. And she said, yeah, I remember you. And I just want to say, I'm glad that you're our new unit chaplain. And I'm grateful that I get to know this person and we get to spend some more time together. But there was an immediate sort of understanding of trust and relationship as we handed off from one chaplain to a new chaplain and got to share some of those new experiences experiences about what may be going on for the future. Relationships are vital in all that we do in life. You know that old saying that says it really is who you know. There is a lot of truth to that. As a kid, I didn't like that because it felt like, kind of an exclusive group, or I just couldn't get in, or it just wasn't fair. It really should be about my performance. And it really is a lot about what you do and your performance. That speaks a lot about what's going on. But in so many ways, it really is who you know. Those people that you can depend on as a nurse, as a healthcare provider, are so, so vital. So reach out to your care team as well. If you've got chaplains or case managers, social workers, child life specialists, all those kinds of things, I want you to remember that you're not alone in what you do. Sometimes it might feel like you're by yourself, or that other people don't really know what's going on. And there is some truth to that. Not everybody knows, or really nobody knows exactly what you're going through. But why don't you invite somebody in? Why don't you let down your guard a little bit and just trust somebody and allow somebody really inside as you share that emotionality and that spirituality, that the impact of what's happening, and just build some kind of trust and rapport with someone. Sure, it's a little bit risky at times as we reach out and we begin to trust other people, but we need it desperately. It really is about who we know, who we can depend on. And that has a lot to do with our relationships and our friendships, our colleagues, the other healthcare providers that are around us. But it also has to do with our family and with our community, our connectedness into groups, or different kind of affinity groups, or even religious groups, community groups, those kinds of things, sports groups. There's all kinds of important things that we need, those relationships. So depend on others. Reach out as well. Realize that you're not by yourself in whatever it is that you're going through. I do hope this has been a little bit of an encouragement to you today. Again, if you're a nurse or healthcare provider, I just want to say thank you for the hard work that you do. It does not go unnoticed. I see you. I see what you're doing, and I'm grateful for the hard work, the love, the attention, the extra care that you provide. Live into that. Keep doing that great work. There are people that notice. There are patients and families and other staff and other leaders that really do see the hard work you're doing. And I just want to say thank you. I want to share a little bit of a devotional and prayer from this book called Spiritual Triage. If you're a Christian and in healthcare, this is an awesome book to be able to have as a tool for you. If you're a chaplain, get this book. Super, super important. Ministry leader, pastor who's trying to care for healthcare providers as well. Great resources in here. I want to share a little bit of devotional. I'm going to read this and a prayer of blessing called The Work of Our Hands. Sometimes we get to do something called blessing of the hands, where we anoint the hands of care providers and pray a special blessing over their hands. Think about what a nurse encounters. If you're a nurse, think about the things that you clean up, the things that you touch on a daily basis, the things that you interact with through your hands primarily. Yours is a work of the hands so many times. So here's the work of our hands. Psalm chapter 90, verse 17 says, "Let the favor of the Lord our God be upon us, and prosper for us the work of our hands." Oh, prosper the work of our hands. And here's a blessing. I would want you to receive this, and maybe you would offer your hands out as I pray this blessing over your hands today, saying these words. May our hands and all that they do be blessed. May they be strong, creative, and gentle. May the Spirit guide them. May they provide comfort and healing. May their touch remind patients of God's divine grace and mercy.
May they work with compassion, and may they also play and rest in good measure. May they feel beauty, create peace, and clap with joy. May our hands and all that they do be blessed. And join me for this prayer. Thank you, Creator of all, for the challenge and privilege of the working in a place where healing happens. Thank you for your presence in our work and for the knowledge that you are with us on the days when we feel bold and strong and on the days where we feel weak and vulnerable. Thank you for the courage that comes from knowing that you facilitate our daily routines and that you bless our work and our rest. Thank you for opportunities to offer hospitality to those who come here for relief and healing. May we continue to welcome patients and their families to our place of work, and may we always welcome your presence here too. God of hospitality, hope, comfort, and healing. Amen. Amen. I just want to say God bless you. Thank you again for joining me this day, the day in a life of a chaplain, as I reflected on nurses during Nurses Week and the incredible blessing that nurses provide in healthcare settings. Thank you so much, nurses, for what you do. You are awesome. You are well appreciated, and we're so, so grateful for the hard work that you do. Keep being awesome. May God bless you. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.